It's that time again! Top 5 Tuesday! And today we're going to be talking about 5 things that change when you become a parent. Actually, I'm going to throw in a bonus one for you this week. So, what we're going to talk about, guys, are the things that definitely change. Regardless of the type of child you have, what their temperament is, there are some universal truths about parenting. The number one thing that everybody is always going to talk to you about is your sleep schedule. And it's not just about when they're a baby. And that's what I want to touch on for you guys today. My kids that I have living in my home are 7, 6, and 2. The other night, my spouse was having a hard time going and getting some sleep, so she went up. She was going to have a bath, try and relax. The 2-year-old was up at 3. The 7-year-old was up at 4. And the 6-year-old was up at 5. The 7-year-old, we got to go to bed pretty quick and easy. He just was looking for a drink, and, well, Mom was in the bathroom having a shower or a bath, so got his drink, used the washroom, went back to bed. The 6-year-old got up to use the washroom, but heard that the 2-year-old was up still downstairs watching a television show. I'm gonna put a picture over here of Woody, who needed to watch TV. Not the toddler, the toy. He was very straight on that. Not me, Woody. Woody wants to watch TV. Kids, man, I tell you what. Damn cute. So conniving. So that is something that most new parents don't really think about. We all kind of understand, yeah, babies don't really know a sleep schedule. They have to be taught when they're supposed to be sleeping, and they just kind of sleep all the time at first because, like, the world takes a lot out of you. That doesn't change. When it comes to as they get older, your kids are still going to disrupt your sleep schedule. They get sick. They get scared. They have bad dreams. Sometimes they just want to come snuggle you because they are lacking in you filling their physical touch love bucket. And that's how they show it to you. They want to crawl into bed with you so that they can be snuggled and get physical touch and love. Not sure what I was just referencing, you guys can check out the links in the description of this video, and you will find a blog post about the love languages and children, as well as last week's Top 5 Tuesday, which talked about the love languages specific to children. And not to mention that, but last week's podcast episode was about how geocaching fills in all the love buckets. Shameless plug right there. Eating habits. You drink a lot more coffee, first of all. I know drinking and eating are technically different things, but let's face it, it all goes in one way and comes out the other. When it comes to our eating habits, especially in my experience anyways, what comes down to is kids like unhealthy food. And I don't mean junk food. I mean they like high carb, high fat, everything that you in your 30s to 50s try to avoid because you don't want to become a blobfish. That's what kids typically like to eat. It's hard, if not impossible, to have the time to make enough meals and variations to keep it healthy for what your kids need in nutrition and healthy for you. Because those are often very different things. Our kids need high carb, high fat diets because they burn through it all faster. We don't. We're old. Sorry. For myself, we have kind of started to get away from this, but at one point in time, every meal I cooked was a goulash. Why? Because I could cook it all in one frying pan and be done. Because I didn't want to have to cook 7 different things and have to wash 7 different pots. It was easier. You know, you're going to find yourself rotating a lot quite commonly through the exact same things, and not always the things you want either, like craft dinner. You eat a lot of craft dinner. Which, by the way, if you want to make it more than just regular craft dinner, go check out that video, which is the Top 5 Tuesday we did quite a while ago about making craft dinner better. Your friend circle is the third thing we're going to talk about. And that kind of seems a little obvious, because especially if you are the first in your circle of friends to have kids and you're not all having kids at the same time, well, Uncle Jesse only comes around when we go to North Country Fair for a reason. We love him, but he's a terrible influence for small children. And it's not just about that. When you have small children, you seek out other parents who have small children. And you're also going to find as your kids get older and they start making friends with different kids, you have to meet different people too. Your kids might be friends with people's children, and you will have to talk to the parents at some point. You might become friends. You might think your child picks terrible children to be friends with because you don't like these people. And that's okay too. You just suck it up, and you let your kids fill their love buckets by letting them have friendships. And you go home and you cry about it later, because you're an adult. Which, by the way, for Extra Life, guys, I have incentives to do edits for other people in return for donations. So if you would like to have me do some edits, by all means, donate to Extra Life. Help children's hospitals and get cool little edited videos for yourself. Number four. Number 4 is what time means. And if you're like me and you're somewhere on the ADHD spectrum, you don't really have a concept of time anyways. And you can just throw that right out your car window as you drive by the high school. I have to drive by high school to get home. Anyways, you can pretty much bet that as a parent, any concept of time you thought you had does not exist or won't any further because, well, kids are kind of on their own schedule. And that's on a good day. You want to guarantee a person is never on time? Give them multiple children. For ourselves, it actually got to the point where my parents started telling us when to be places earlier just so that we would get our kids ready sooner and be on time. And we used to be the punctual people. Honestly, it's gotten worse as the kids got older. Number 5, what is dirty or gross? Because all of a sudden you are dealing with another human being's bodily fluids on an almost hourly basis. And you kind of just get over it really quick. You have no choice but to change poopy diapers or to clean up a lot of vomit. And you kind of learn how to deal with these things under fire. Even if you thought you were okay with it, you might find that certain things actually still bother you, but you're able to work through it differently. That being said, I know some people who can work through anything their own children throw at them, but if it's somebody else's kid, they might as well have never had any of their own. Something to think about. Drum roll. And today we have a bonus one for you, like I mentioned. Today we have a 6th thing for this Tuesday, and that is how you see the world. What I mean by that is you now have this tiny little person that you have to look after their needs as much as your own. Their needs definitely become the priority, but you also start to think about how other people affect their needs, the little people's needs, or your ability to provide for their needs. Suddenly, your attitude towards certain things in the world changes. Such as establishments where people remove their clothing, I'm perfectly fine with never going near them since my daughter was born. Because that's somebody else's daughter, and I don't feel comfortable with that anymore. Never used to bother me. But things change. You also start to think to yourself in some self-reflection as to how you treat the world, an example for your child. So if you guys are new to the channel, you like this video, go check out these other ones. If you recently subscribed to this or the podcast, I just want to thank you and say,
welcome to the family.
That's my kids, by the way.